Got another interview question for you. What I want to do is talk today about dependency injection. So, what is dependency injection? Well, dependency injection is when you decouple classes from what they depend on. Now you may be asking yourself, what is a dependency? Well, let's say we have this class here. We have a customer class, and in this class we've created an instance of a service object, and we're passing a value to that service object called cool service. So this service object right here is what we call a dependency. The reason it's called a dependency is because the customer object or the customer class depends on this service object in order to function properly. It depends on this new instance of the service object to function properly. Alright, so why is dependency injection important? Well, one reason it's important is because of this concept called inversion of control. You may have heard of this term before, and it's basically a concept that states that classes should configure its dependencies from the outside. Now, if we go back to my previous slide, you can see that this dependency, which is service equals new service and cool service, is not configured from the outside. It is actually configured inside of the customer class. Now, another reason why dependency injection is important is because ideally Java classes should be as independent as possible. Okay? Now, the reason that these classes should be as independent as possible is because it increases the possibility of reusing the classes as well as testing the classes independently from other classes. Now, what I'm going to do now is actually show you how to incorporate dependency injection based on this customer class that I have. So I'm going to actually go to Eclipse right now. Alright, so what we have here is our customer class here, and we have our service. Now what I'm going to do now is just go through each one of the classes first. Well, let's just remove this stuff first. Okay, so I have my customer class here. In my customer class I have this object that is called service. And what we're going to do, we're going to go into service and see exactly what this class is doing. So service is basically just a class. It consists of a data member called name, and it just consists of some getter and setter methods down here, as well as a constructor where the name can be passed in and set and it can set the name of this class. So this is pretty much what the service class does. It's pretty basic, pretty easy to understand, and that's what it does. Alright, so we go back to customer. Alright, so let's just say with this service object we want to go about and create ourselves a method, and this method is going to be called view customer services. So we're going to go public void view cust service. Alright, now what we want to do now is, well, instead of void we're going to return a string actually. Sorry about that. Alright, now from here what we're going to do is just go service or return service dot get name, and this is going to be us simply just returning the service. And we also just want to print it out as well. Alright, so we have our method here in our customer class called view customer service, so that whenever this runs, we're going to be getting the name back. So we're going to go to our application object, create a new instance of customer, and we're just going to go c dot view customer service. Alright, so we simply go up here, run the application. Well, we're getting some errors somewhere. Where are these errors coming from. Okay. Sorry about this. Alright, so simply just run the application and we get cool service back. Alright, so we're getting this cool service back and it really doesn't look like there's any problems. But let's just say we wanted to pass in a service for each customer object that we create. We're not able to do that because we haven't incorporated dependency injection. So for example, let's just say, alright, so for example, let's just say we wanted to create multiple customer objects. So we're going to do something like this. Okay, so we have 3 customer objects here. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and I'm just gonna go 1 and 2 and then 3. Now, what we want to make all these customers unique, but we're not really able to, you know, associate a unique. So let's just run this application first right here. So we're all getting cool service, and the reason we're getting cool service for each one of these customers is because we've declared this hard dependency service equals new service, and then we're setting the value of cool service in here. So whenever a new customer object is created and a name is returned, we're getting cool service for all of these customers. But what if we wanted to create a customer and associate that customer with a unique service? Because all customers are not gonna have the same service. We want to make these customers unique. We want to add specific services based on whatever the service that the customer requests for. So a way to handle this would be to use dependency injection. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I'm going to go back to my customer class, and what I'm going to do now is actually add a constructor to this class. All right, so I'm going to go public customer, and then from here I'm going to be passing in a service. Okay, now after I pass in that service, what I want to do is go this dot service equals service, and then I just simply want to remove this instance of the service that is created. So now we have this, and this is how you would go about incorporating dependency injection. So as you can see here, I've passed this service object. So now I'm allowing this customer class to take in a service object. Okay, and then I'm just setting this service, which I have up here, equal to the new service that is passed in. So if I go back to my application object, you see that we're getting some errors here. Now the reason we're getting errors here is because this customer is now expecting a service, just like you see here. So I'm going to go up here and create new service objects for each one of these customers. S equals new service, and then from here I can add services for each one of these customers. Alright, so I'm going to go here and just type in cool service, and I'm going to just make some copies here. And I just want to name this S1, S2, S3. And each one of these services are going to be associated with the customers. So I'm going to call this, the first one cool service, the second one lame service, and the last one mediocre mediocre service. I think that's how you spell it. If I didn't spell that right, leave it in the comments below. Alright, so now what I want to do is just pass in the service for each one of these customers, S2 and then S3. Now, as you can see, what's happening is that I'm associating the service right here with a particular customer. So each of these customers are unique and they have their own unique type of service. So what I want to do now is simply just run this application and you see what we get. We get cool service, lame service, and then we have mediocre service. And that's what dependency injection really is. So it's basically the process of decoupling classes from what they depend on, and basically you're injecting the dependencies into components of this class. Alright, so if I go back here, I just want to now just talk about the different ways of injecting dependencies. So as you saw in the Eclipse, I've injected the dependencies through constructors. You can also inject them through setter methods, or you can inject them through just methods that are within the class. And that's pretty much what dependency injection is. Now this pretty much well, we've pretty much reached the end of the video now. I just wanted to create a short, sweet video explaining what dependency injection is. So if you have any questions, just please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if you've learned something from here. And don't forget to subscribe. And see you on the next one.